Although I'm not a Sonic fan, I never got into it. I just don't understand. To me, platforming is like a science, and I don't know. I'm not like Phil hate.
There goes our subscriber.
There goes our
done.
count. What's going on, everyone? My name's Dave,
and I'm Joe.
Yeah, and no. We own a retro video game store in Ottawa, Ontario, and today we're going to be answering your questions.
So we put out a call to arms on our Facebook and Instagram, kind of asking you guys what questions you had for us, sort of an Ask Me Anything style video. So that's kind of the plan. Throw me a few curveballs.
All right, so this one's from Brandon. This is like little lob here. So what's your favorite non-Nintendo console? I know the answer, but you can say it.
You do?
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna go with the PlayStation 2.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
And as you can see, there's lots of PS2 games back here. So.
All right. Do you want to say why?
Yeah, no, for me, PS2, I always tell people in our store when they're shopping, like, it's pound for pound the best system value-wise still. Yeah. Even though the games have gone up a bit, I still think you can get a PS2 with all of the core really good games for a pretty good value. Mm-hmm. And all the games are, like, they're very playable. Again, they're not too expensive. And there's RPGs, there's like your open world Grand Theft Autos, there's your mascot platformer, sports games. It's literally got everything for everybody, and the games are still very cheap. Not like GameCube, where everything's expensive.
So. Totally. My favorite PS2 game is NHL Hits.
NHL Hits. That's a great game.
So same question. I'm gonna go with the Sega Genesis, and I'm full on retro. I don't play a lot of disc-based games. So for me, it's Genesis. The platformers, like games like Rise Star, Rocket Knight Adventures,
Shinobi 3.
That's a great one. First Shinobi. Although I'm not a Sonic fan, I never got into it. I just don't understand. To me, platforming is like a science, and I don't know. I'm not like Phil hate.
There goes our subscriber.
There goes
our
count. No, but like I love the Genesis, and like I still play like regularly NHL 94 with my buddy before we play hockey. Like every week, he comes over, we play NHL 94. Although we play it on the Sega CD.
Oh, nice!
Because there's like better music.
Better music.
Anyway.
You have to try Sonic Mania for the Switch.
I know.
That's really well done.
Yes, I do. Okay, so that's kind of, and then maybe
Q1.
we'll do another one from Brandon here.
Genesis is my second favorite non-Nintendo console.
See, I thought you were going to say Genesis. That's why.
Close.
I was also I kind of knew you were going to say PlayStation. So, favorite YouTube channels or podcasts?
Okay.
So my favorite YouTube channel is TND Video Games.
Oh, of course.
Honestly.
Yes. So what's your second favorite?
So much content.
What's your second favorite?
You know what's funny? Like, it's definitely changed and ebbs and flows over the years. I do watch Retro Rick and Pixel Game Squad, and I watch those guys, but I watch a lot of hockey. So those aren't like true
like Johnny
channels.
Hockey.
I watch like hockey or this guy Nyquist. I don't know. I like
to he's good.
I like to speculate about hockey, so I watch a lot of hockey stuff on YouTube.
Are you a prolific commenter on their channels?
I comment on people's stuff if I like what they're doing.
Okay.
And, I will give people full props and like thank yous and but I'm always very polite.
Okay. No, yeah. I'm more of a lurker, so I don't really comment.
I've seen your comments. You're like,
I'll comment on our stuff.
I don't know if I agree with that, and then
I don't really follow a lot of the shop or game hunting type channels. Right now, I watch a lot of Sega Lord X, so he covers everything Sega, basically. He branches out, so I like him. I like SNES Drunk. And then another one I watched, because I loved wrestling back in like the 80s, early 90s, Wrestling Bios. So he covers all old wrestling shows. He does like a Reliving the War series where he compares Raw and Nitro and like does a head-to-head.
Yeah, I've watched that with you.
He puts out, it's like an hour, it's like a TV show every week. I don't know how he does it, but love watching him. That's kind of like my top 3 right now.
Yeah, that's good. I forgot about SNES Drunk. Like or SNES Drunk. But like I've been watching that channel since the dude had like maybe 10,000 subs. And if you want like authentic, or if you want like a really good, concise review of a game, and he does mostly retro stuff, just watch his stuff.
Well,
and he's got good music.
He does, yeah.
I've seen the music ones, like he'll compile all this music and then you can just play it in the background. It's great.
And I like how he admits that he's a fast talker, but I like how everything's like quick to the point.
No, it's good.
Most of his videos are under 10 minutes long, unless it's like a compilation video.
Yeah.
So I like him. And then for podcasts, I listen to this one called the Polykill podcast, and it's two guys, and they actually talk about trying to finish games. So they have this like kind of contest every 2 weeks on Twitter. You finish a game, you tag them, and then they'll actually tally it up and announce a winner every 2 weeks. So kind of a podcast about beating games instead of collecting them. So I think that's pretty cool.
I listen to podcasts, but they're more like politics based and like,
well, yeah, that's my gaming
stuff.
one.
So like I don't have a gaming. I used to listen to gaming podcasts, and for the life of me I can't remember their names right now, but you know,
most of the ones I used to listen
totally
to
authentic, right? Like I used to do that and have that.
Well, a lot of the ones I used to listen to, like the Narc one, I liked that one, North American Retro Collective, but they're all like, they've all moved on to
I listened to the one that you were in a while back.
Oh, Cartridge Club.
Yeah because I'm your friend and I had to listen to it.
Yeah,
it was good. It was actually good. You guys were talking about
that was great.
The turtles.
The first time I'm on anything and they're like, oh, we got John Riggs and Michael B. the Game Genie as guests too. And I'm just like,
and Joe.
and Joe.
And Joe.
I held my own though. It was good.
You did good. So Matt asks, which game or series do you wish they'd port onto current gen or remaster, and why? So like a game, yeah.
Okay, so for me, it would be Lost Odyssey on the Xbox 360. So for me, great RPG. I've talked about when we get it in, that really should have been what Final Fantasy 12 was instead of what they made. And I think they need to port that to newer systems. It's on the Series X backwards compatible list, so like it'll upscale it. But it'd be cool if they remade it or made a sequel to it. That'd be kind of neat for me.
That'd be cool.
So nothing really retro because all that stuff's coming out now. So like if that question came out 10 years ago, I'd have like a list, but everything seems to be getting remastered right now.
That's true.
Like Mario RPG and Paper Mario. I'm pumped for those.
I'm so curious to see if I'm going to say a game and you're going to be like, Dave, they've already remastered that game, right? But like,
all right.
I know. But like, I was thinking about this and like, I mean, I like the old like NES platformers. Like I like Shatterhand. I like Shadow of the Ninja.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking like it'd be cool if Sunsoft who owns Sunsoft now? Like who owns them?
I don't know.
They're not Sunsoft anymore.
They're around because they've redone the Blaster Master games.
But wouldn't it be cool if they put a compilation like Gremlins 2, Shadow of the Ninja,
Journey to Silius,
the Batman game? They made both Batman games. They made the Joker game,
and they made the original one.
Journey to Silius. Like I think it'd be cool if they put a compilation of those out.
Batman would be hard because they'd have to license it.
Yeah,
that's like the one thing. So the answer to that question is probably anything licensed that they.
So yeah, Gremlins 2 they wouldn't be able to do. Shatterhand's a Jaleco game.
And Journey to Silius is basically Terminator, but they didn't want to pay for the license.
That's right. So maybe
Shadow of the Ninja. I don't think
Sunsoft did Jaleco should put a compilation. It'll be like all the 4 baseball games there. Baseball Stars 1, 2, 3. Is it Baseball Stars? No, not Baseball Stars.
What's that?
The baseball games for Jaleco. Bases.
Bases loaded.
Yeah, Bases loaded 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Shatterhand. And City Connection.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'd like to see more compilations like that, kind of. So that would be kind of cool. So, have you changed your trade-in or buying procedures over the years? And has the market affected it? So I'll go first.
Yeah, for sure.
When Joe and I first opened the store, like, okay. I'm
gonna get comfy for this one.
I think we wanted to make sure we gave fair value for everything that was traded in, which like can usually meant around 50%, right? And I remember learning the hard way that you can't always give 50% on stuff because people will take that and then they will go buy the stuff in your store that's super hard to find. And I remember one time like buying all these Wiis. By the way, we always talk about Wiis, but it's true. We bought like 4 or 5 Wiis from a guy, and we were selling them at the time for like $50 or $60. Not much more than we sell them for now. And this was like 6 years ago. And I gave him like $30 each. And it was like $120 or something for the 4 of them, and like with controllers and everything. And he was super happy. And then he walks in the store and took like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, exactly.
64. Yeah. I was like, I'm like that's a game I want to sell, right? And then now I have 4 Wiis, and I already had many Wiis.
Yeah, I think that was the key. Is like it would be if we didn't have any Wiis, then getting 4 of them would be great.
Yeah.
But the fact that we already had a stockpile.
But you always feel like you had to like, I have to give you half of what it's worth. And now when someone comes in, I'm like, look, I can't give you money for that.
Yeah.
So the way that the buying habits have changed is like, I can't do it. I'm sorry, because I'm going to be stuck with this product, possibly never selling it, or I'm going to have like 40 of them.
Yeah. So someone comes in with a Wii now. I explain to them, the system is kind of worthless to us because we have so many. The controllers are worth something because those sell well, and the games obviously are what would matter.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are taken aback when you don't offer a lot on the system, because that's the thing they paid like a lot of money for.
Yeah.
And so they're like a little confused about how we're doing the value. So I think
That's
we're
like
better at
question.
explaining it though.
Well, yeah, obviously, and it's much easier to explain in person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So so I think like how the buying. I mean, look, we're gonna buy stuff that'll sell in the store. That's like at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here. And you want to get stuff that, like when you buy a big collection, you know, some of it's going to sell right away, some of it's going to take a little bit of time, and some of it may never sell or will end up at one of our outdoor sales, like heavily discounted. Yeah. And that's we account for all of that, right? And so we've changed. I think that's the main way we've changed though, is like we're much more comfortable not always giving money
or passing on things.
We're much more comfortable passing. I think that's the way to look at it.
We used to think that everything that came into the store, it was a failure if we didn't get it. Yeah. Whereas now it's actually like, it's a success if you don't acquire too much junk.
That's right. So I think we kind of answered that together, but unless you have anything else to add.
Yeah, no, well, I also think too, like, so you're mentioning like we were doing half on everything. Mm-hmm. I think now we're actually better at where we will give more than half if it's something that really sells well. So I think at the beginning, we would miss out on some better inventory because we were probably offering too little because we had that 50% stuck in our minds, right? Where we would obviously get the lower value stuff that people were looking to offload. Totally. So I think overall, when we're doing a full collection, our offer probably ends up close to the same, but we're allocating more of the value to the higher end stuff. And we're a lot more communicative with the customer, kind of telling them like, you know, here's a pile of stuff. Like, you know, if we're offering you $500, these 10 games are 400 of it, and these 50 games are like the other $100 because like we don't need them and we're actually going to have to store them. So like for the Wii, for example, like if we have 50 of them, we don't need a 51st one. It's going to take several years. Like we're paying to store that basically, right? So that's right.
And I think what I'm going to do one day is make a compilation video of us just talking about the Nintendo Wii.
Well, that's the perfect example right now.
And like, I do not hate the Wii. I actually think it's a fantastic system.
For sure. Yeah.
But what I don't like is how many of them are out there, because everyone spent like $300-400 on it at the time, and now they're not worth anything.
Why is Joe so much better looking than Dave?
Yeah. So someone's saying here, why is Joe so much more likable than Dave?
That's a whole video on its own.
That's a loaded question. Do you guys have hair? No. Okay, sorry.
That's why we wear hats.
A lot of you are the same. So Alyssa, I hope that's right. Alyssa asks, the best collection you have traded with?
I think she means like the best collection we've
I think the best collection that we've ever received. That's what I'm thinking. What, in your opinion, what's the best one we ever got?
The best one, probably the most expensive one we got, that one out in Prescott. Yeah. Just because of how varied it was. Basically driving it in the middle of nowhere with like over $10,000 on you to like some dude's house that we don't know.
So some dude had posted that he was selling his collection, and we responded with a very good offer, and we drove to this guy's house, and I mean, I don't mind saying it. Well, like we paid like
I think it was like 12 or 13 grand.
It was $12,400. I remember that. And so like we were going to the middle of nowhere. We had no idea where we were, and like $12,000 cash strapped to us. Right? I think I had 13 because we didn't know if we were buying some.
Well, he had more stuff, and then stuff was missing, which always happens.
So like we get there, and like, you know. Anyway, so I had the money like in my pockets, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be, you know, Joe knows like, you know, jujitsu or something. So Joe knows. What do you say? Like, if someone attacks you, you can defend yourself, but you don't know how to attack them.
No, I don't know how to beat people up.
Yeah, so
I know how to kick you in the nuts and run away.
There you go.
That's what I learned.
That's all you need to know. Anyway, so the collection was awesome. There was like TurboGrafx stuff. There was Neo Geo stuff. Tons of Nintendo, tons of Sega, like just a really good assortment of games and consoles. And that was $12,000 like 4 years ago. Like it would easily be double that.
Oh, for sure.
Like we'd have to pay double that now.
Yeah. Oh, easily. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because I remember there was like lots of good Saturn stuff in that collection. It was a good variety of stuff. I also remember he just had everything in random piles, so he gave us a list which we alphabetized, and then everything. We were there forever.
And we were there for we got home late.
But we got a Neo Geo, we got an XI, like a Sharp Famicom Twin. Like he had all this really cool obscure stuff.
Yeah.
And then a good variety of like PS2, Wii, GameCube, like a lot of good sellable stuff too. Totally. But I remember we were there for so long, it was dark, and I remember we loaded my SUV, and I had to like put games on my lap. You had to drive home because I brought
I
brought my prescription sunglasses, and then it was dark out, so you
Yeah.
had to drive home because I couldn't see anything on those back roads.
Yeah.
But I remember having bins on top of me, and so I think that was like, as far as variety and obscure stuff.
But like, yeah, that was the biggest, and maybe my favorite as well. But like more recently, the N64 collection that we got last May, like a year and a half ago almost.
Yeah, the dude with the really nice grass.
Yeah, really nice grass. But like, he had like 260 N64 games. That was amazing.
Yeah, so it was like two
to get that many and unique. Like one of each.
And those sold like so fast, dude.
We had like, I think it was like $2,000 in sales before we even opened the store.
Yeah.
I posted things on Saturday, and people prepaid for stuff before we had even opened.
Well, and I remember one guy wasn't even in the country, and he prepaid us like $600 or $700 bucks, and he picked it up like a few months later because it wasn't even in Canada. So that was cool.
People follow us from all around the world. So yeah, we've had lots of big collection pickups over the years, and like they're always fun to go to. We always go together, and definitely looking forward to the next one because we're gonna probably film it as well. So
for
that'll
sure.
Be fun.
And then more recently, I think when Mike's stuff with all the pinball machines.
Oh yeah, like going to Mike's house is like.
I wish we were filming when we got the first lot off him, where we bought a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm also happy that the subsequent pickups have been smaller because you were able to film his pinball stuff.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool too. But
well, actually, the first time I went to Mike, that might actually be because we picked up, I want to say, like close to 400 NES and Super Nintendo cards.
Yeah, and it was just cool seeing his Neo Geo stuff and
man.
his pinball machines too. Like talking with a collector.
That's actually much more. I actually forgot about that. That one's much more memorable. So, all right, let's see here. So, someone asked us how much would you sell a Virtual Boy with a Virtual Boy Wario Land for? I'm not sure what to say about that. Like
whatever it's going for right now.
You know, and like it's just in terms of, it doesn't matter what it is, but like it's hard to say what you're going to sell something for unless you actually have it physically with you, so you can see the condition and also what you paid for it.
Yeah.
Because if we get a really good deal on it, then we're going to pass that deal on too, right?
Yeah.
So if we pay more for it, then we may have to charge a bit more. So there's a couple more here. There's one on Instagram. So Retro Mike asks, what was the split screen game that had you and your friends hooked?
Oh, okay. For me, it would have been Super Mario Kart Battle Mode.
Oh, okay.
That's like, I played a lot of that.
On the N64?
No, on the Super Nintendo.
On the Super,
so
wow, okay.
with my stepbrother Kenny, like I remember being in his room, playing the crap out of that. Like he would have friends over, I would have friends over, and it was only 2-player at a time, so it would kind of be like a winner stays kind of thing. And we'd always pick the level, the bigger level, and we'd always be looking at the other guy's screen to look at the color of the tiles to try and find them. And it was like where you had like the 3 balloons kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was the one we played a lot, and then a lot of GoldenEye, like when we got the Nintendo 64. So I'd say
that's my answer.
Okay,
right
yeah.
there.
So you, but I sucked at GoldenEye, so I'll let you talk about GoldenEye.
Well, I'm really good at games, obviously. So
for sure,
we know this. We talk about this all the time. Joe usually says things like, "Dave is so good at games."
Yeah.
And this is true. This is like a daily thing.
I think there's a screenshot from today.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to put that in the video.
I should put our text thing. Something about it.
When you're much better looking, it's hard to be good at games too. Like
that's
true.
You
can only do one.
You can only have so much natural talent.
Exactly.
So yeah. So anyway,
that's my excuse.
So my buddy. So I didn't have an N64 for the longest time growing up, but my buddy would come over to my house every Friday, and he would bring it over with GoldenEye, and we would just like play that game to death, and it was just like proximity mines and complex, and just like we knew all the spawn points.
We had to make a rule, no prox mines. That was like
that's all we did was proximity mines, and it was like it was the best. And so that was the game, and then obviously Mario Kart 64. Like when you turn it on, it goes, it does that sound. It's just like it's so nostalgic.
And that was 4-player, so that was probably.
But that was like epic. Chaotic. You had 4 controller ports on the console, so like you had to physically be with people in the room, and it was great. Like it was fun. But GoldenEye was the big one. What are some of your activities or hobbies outside of gaming that you enjoy? So I love hockey. Absolutely, hockey is my favorite sport. So I play hockey. That's it.
What position?
I'm a forward.
You're a forward. Okay.
I'm a power forward.
Power forward.
I am. I'm a power forward. So if you know hockey, like
right in the crease.
I'm very fast, and I get in there, and like I'm more likely to get injured if I'm a hockey player.
All hard.
If I play. all the time. So anyway, I love hockey. I don't have I don't have other hobbies like this.
You don't have time.
The store and like my family, you know, but I do. This will only be on this podcast.
Do you collect stamps secretly or something like that? That's okay if you do.
I do like gardening. Gardening vegetables because
that's like an old Italian thing to do.
It's very Italian. I like to get outside. I don't know. Put me outside in a garden and I'm actually quite happy.
Nice.
So the exact opposite of like sitting there playing video games. So hockey and gardening.
Hockey and gardening. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, my list is going to be stuff I used to do that I wish I could get back into, or I want to get back into.
It's because I make you work for TND all the time in all your spare time.
And I have
Joe, go price this.
I have a 2-year-old too.
Yeah.
So
And
a full-time job and this.
Yeah,
so and then you're working me to the bone.
I'm usually telling Joe what to do all the time. So.
Making me film stuff.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm busy.
That's right.
So in high school, college, I was big into skateboarding and snowboarding. So I'd like to get back into snowboarding. That's a lot safer than skateboarding. Although part of me wants to get back into skateboarding just so Maddie can see me do it and maybe learn how to do it.
Yeah, it's good. I
was also into playing the drums. Like you were in a band and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we were in punk bands.
Yeah, so
we were like angry suburban youth in Ottawa. We're like,
So I was never in a band, but I had a drum set and I would play along to music.
We should start a band.
We should jam. There we go.
There's our
next.
There's
our next project.
You should get a drum set.
So I would like to get back into drumming. You said gardening. My hobby, since moving here, more rural property, I've got a 2-acre lot that I cut the grass every week.
Yeah.
So nothing better than a beer and a nice podcast or music in headphones and like an hour and a half cutting the grass.
Yeah.
Very, very relaxing. And then I sit there and stare at it like an old man.
Yeah, you do. You totally do. You smoke a little cigarette.
And I yell at kids for walking on my grass.
You totally do. Okay, one last question here. Someone named Retro Mojo asked, "Does Dave really drink his own pee?"
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, you know, there's so many ways to go with that, right? So first of all, why is this Retro Mojo guy curious about whether or not Dave drinks his own pee?
Test. Dave drinks his own pee. Test. I don't know.
Also, has something leaked?
Block that guy.
Has something leaked?
Who knows?
Okay.
But
all right, good dad jokes. I think that's all. Like I don't know. We appreciate you posting this. We get more people asking us questions inside the store as well. So what I might do, going forward is try to write those down. But thank you for giving the questions. We enjoyed this. This is fun.
Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
So yeah, and if you're enjoying the content, check out the other content. We're doing the podcast. We do vlogs, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.